Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming this evening. It is my pleasure to actually turn over the podium to our president, Dr. Bill Law, who's going to give us a welcome this evening. Please join welcoming Dr. Bill Law.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We are very glad to have you here tonight. As I was sharing with my table mates, this is a whole lot better than the law household on Thursday nights. Okay, the food is wonderful. We started our day here with the other half of the advisory committees. We had a group of about this size this morning. And we have some great news as part of the update, so we're glad to do that. Jason and Jim and some of our other supporters have things we want to share with you. My job tonight, though, is to say thank you. All of you are here because you have, over time, some new folks, but you have committed yourself to helping us have programs that meet needs, that prepare our students to work with you, for you, and to contribute to the welfare of your enterprise, your company, and our community, to strengthen through job development, the kinds of things we all hope for in a vibrant community. So thank you for what you do. I'm here tonight to be sure you sense that I'm very interested in the work that you do. I trust that our system is giving us good guidance, that I'm feeling that the work you've been doing, certainly in the few years I've been here, we see a great deal of curriculum activity to adjust our programs and to focus them and make sure the learning outcomes are aligned with the things that you're hiring for, or the work that is new in your industry, or for the students that we are sending you. So I hope we are being as attuned as you would certainly hope for. I hope then that gives you great comfort that the contribution you're making at our committee meetings and with our faculty and staff are part of that. By the numbers, of course, everybody, if you know Bill Law, if you ask people, they'll say, you know, first of all, if you better talk about students because he cares a lot about students, and you better bring your best numbers. Other than that, you won't get much of a hearing from him, okay? So by the numbers, we are 33,000 students again this semester, 33,000 credit students. And for this group, there's a lot of importance for the students who are in our certification programs, who are not in the credit courses. So we have two tracks, and both are quite robust. 33,000 students. They each drive 2 cars to campus every day. So parking is always a problem, and we can blame that squarely on the students. There are 2 things. They pay me a great deal of money, and I'm very happy to be the college president. There are 2 things I don't do: food and parking. I have vice presidents who take care of those things. Okay, so if you have parking issues, I'll direct you to the correct vice president. Okay, but our baccalaureate programs are doing exceptionally well. They continue to grow very nicely. We're about 5,000 of those 33,000 students are in our baccalaureate programs, and every one of those is focused directly on the workplace. The output there is, I think, going exceptionally well. As I like to describe it, the leap between the degree and the job is as narrow as we can make it. You are there to get that job. Let us get you ready. Go get that job. And we're seeing great throughput there. 220-something nurses last year placed. 200 teachers in our teacher ed program. The IT is around the same level of about 200 graduates a year. So these are enormous contributions to the fabric of our community and the readiness of the pool that you're trying to hire from as you grow and expand your businesses, or certainly replace workers who when openings occur. So we're very pleased that those are working well. About 10 or 11,000 of the remaining students are in programs that are associated with workforce education. So, for instance, in nursing, we have 1,500 nursing students. Split a little more baccalaureate than registered ADN now, but 1,500 is a pretty sizable commitment in the nature of work of that. I wouldn't guess in the rest of our health-related programs, probably a few thousand more students in the variety of programs that we have. So 10 or 11,000 students in associate degree workforce programs, and 5,000 in bachelor's level workforce programs. I think we're doing a great job. I hope you feel the work that we're doing is beneficial to our community. The inside baseball is the state is trying to, as if we need more incentive to do better. They changed the basis for funding us. So butts in chairs is no longer the metric. They have a whole range of metrics that they use now, one of which was earnings of graduates, earnings of your graduates. And as we sit here tonight, I want to tell you that the college that came out at the top of that list is St. Petersburg College. So for those of you who think that jobs matter, we're doing quite well, but we appreciate all of that you're doing. I want to turn it back to Jason to make his presentation. Jason Hurst is the director of our workforce programs. He's doing a great job for us, and I have already seen his stuff, so let me tell you, you're in for a treat. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Law. And I'll follow Dr. Law's cadence in expressing my gratitude, again, for you coming tonight and the time that you invest in our programs and ensuring that our students are workforce ready. I also want to thank my team, Lisa Yaxo, Marilyn Brown, Julia Meyer, for all the tireless efforts they put in and the time that they put in to pull off and plan this event. So thank you very much for all your work. Tonight, we're going to talk about the framework of SPC programs, the framework of the services that we provide through career services, and how you as advisory committee members can plug in to that network and help us serve our students in preparing them. Dr. Law gave some numbers of enrollment for the fall semester, and I wanted to give you just some idea of the scope and breadth of your involvement as committee members. There are 38 advisory committee members college-wide. That represents 374 companies, 541 members. We want to welcome the new members. We've got 168 new members this year, and we welcome back those 373 returning members. Dr. Law gave some fall semester enrollment numbers, and here's our overall enrollment for last year in 2014-15. We had over 43,000 undergraduate students and another 14,000 in the workforce and professional development programs. So you can see that the work that you do is very valuable, and it has an impact on huge numbers of students going through our programs and contributing to our local workforce. In front of you, you have a program, actually it's a guide. We have orientation for you, if you will. We are a college, and we like to give orientation. So we created an orientation for advisory committee members, and this guide will tell you kind of what's expected if you're a new member and never been on the advisory board with St. Petersburg College. I've got the kind of my cliff notes on the screen, and then in the orientation manual there you can see more details about that. But I'll run through those just quickly with you. Number one is assess the program's effectiveness in meeting your needs as employers in the Tampa Bay area. If we're not meeting your needs, or the students are coming out and you find that they're not prepared in certain areas, we want to hear from you. What are your recommendations? Help guide the curriculum, help guide the program so that we are including all the components that are necessary. And not only in the curriculum, but the activities. Out-of-class support activities are equally as important as what happens in the classroom. So please help us in guiding classroom and out-of-class experiences. The last two bullets really go together. We ask that you foster positive community relationships with your peers in the industry. And one of the ultimate goals in that is to help us in assisting students in finding internships and finding jobs. We know that you can't hire every graduate from one company in your agency, but you have a network of employers in the area that you can help us, and part of your role is help us finding those internship opportunities and job placements so that we can stay #1 in the state. We're also number 5 in the nation for building skill sets that lead to high-wage jobs as well. So we're doing very well, and we need your help in staying on top. Earlier today, we also met, we had our Workforce Council meeting. We have re-envisioned the Workforce Council and had our first quarterly meeting this morning. And this is a little different. This is, as opposed to your discipline-specific focal workforce advisory groups, this is a council that is more regional in nature. And it looks at high-wage, high-need jobs in the Tampa Bay area, the ones that contribute to the most economic development in our region. So we have internal stakeholders from programs, the program administrators from those programs, in addition to external stakeholders like Pinellas County Economic Development, BAMA, Bay Area Manufacturing, the Upper Tampa Bay Manufacturing, and Tampa Bay Partnership. The council is chaired by Pat Jahant from the Tampa Bay, from Tampa Bay Technology Forum. So we talk about how we're preparing students for the industry. Last year, if you're here, we talked about one of the strategic initiatives, and that was our goal was to embed industry certifications into curriculum where it wasn't already there. And so we have done that, and happy to report that this year, among all the state colleges, 28 colleges in the state, we were in the top 10. We were number 6 in the number of industry certifications that were earned by our graduates in targeted sectors. So we are making the top 10 list in many areas. This is just a sample of the certifications that are earned. We have other areas. These were just targeted sections like healthcare, public safety, advanced manufacturing, and information technology. The industry certifications are also spread throughout other programs throughout the college. In fact, this summer we had a summer institute, and the deans and faculty can attest that we took the industry certification standards and looked at those and examined those and compared those to the curriculum and the major learning outcomes. And we saw where there were gaps and where they fit. And where there were gaps, we're adjusting curriculum wherever possible. And in some cases, we're supplementing the classroom experience with out-of-class support and test preparation through the help of the testing center in partnership with the Workforce and Continuing Education Program. So we're preparing students for employment in many ways, both in class and out of class. For years, we've had a strong emphasis on active learning, and faculty are engaged in continuing education, professional development, to ensure that they are staying on the cutting edge of active learning strategies in the classroom, helping students gain those technical skills, as we mentioned, the industry certifications. Working in teams, we've heard from students that they complain a lot about it, and there's always a gripe or two from students saying they didn't like their team members and they had to carry the weight. Well, guess what? That's going to happen in the real world. And so we keep doing it despite the complaints. And then critical thinking skills has been another long-standing initiative of the college, that we are infusing strategies and activities in the class to promote critical thinking. Out of the class, we have free tutoring, all campuses and disciplines. We have increased our out-of-class support and tutoring by leaps and bounds this past 2 years. The services are available. We've expanded the number of staff that are providing services to students and helping the students to promote student success. Student support services, we have special programs, Women on the Way, programs for veterans, services, students with disabilities, special populations. We have several programs that are targeted at helping those special populations. And then student life and leadership. We know that students who are engaged with out-of-class activities are more likely to stay in college and graduate. And then finally, career and academic advising. This year, one of the major strategic initiatives of the college is to train all of our academic advisors in career development facilitation. So through the fall and spring semesters, we have about 100 advisors college-wide who are going to go through this certification and be nationally certified through the National Career Development Association to be career development facilitators. So not only are they advising on which courses to take, they're infusing the career readiness pieces into that advising. And from the get-go, from the moment that they step into the door, we're assessing what is your career path, what is your major, And we continue to have that conversation each time that we meet with them. We've branded student services as Smart Start and Finish Strong. I mentioned orientation earlier, and we have the most robust orientation program, I believe, that you'll find anywhere. Before we had, a one-shot deal where you're drinking from a fire hose, really just orientation is take it all in and try to remember everything. Now we've spread it out, and we have advisors facilitating orientation. We call it Smart Start. So for 4 weeks, the students are enrolled in a non-credit class. They don't have to pay for it, and our advisors are facilitating it and covering all of the student support services that I've mentioned here, the tutoring and connecting them with all of those services to ensure that they're successful. Under the career services area, Smart Start means get started on the right foot. We're going to start you out by doing a career assessment. 5 components to our Focus 2 software, and advisors are going to facilitate and help you interpret the results of those assessments. Every brand new student is going to go through that and then have a discussion about what is your career path and what is the major that we have that aligns with that career path. And then once they've done the assessment, we encourage job shadowing. And that's where we need your help as well as employers to allow students who are exploring different options to come into your sites and shadow someone. As Dr. Law has a shadow now from USF that's following him around. He can attest to that and the value of his shadow. Or maybe his shadow could do that. Informational interviews, so that would be more like one-on-one with someone in a position where the student is going and learning about the position. Excuse me. And company tours. In October, there's an industry that has a whole month dedicated to advanced manufacturing. They're going to be opening their doors. Many of them are here tonight. And they have a whole month dedicated to learning about this industry. So we want to do more of those. And if you're interested in having a month dedicated to your industry, let's talk and we can start a new holiday. Finish Strong is the other end. So we've done a lot of great work with starting smart and helping figure out what is the student's major, what's the best fit for them. Finish Strong means you're career ready. We have workshops that have been developed college-wide, focused on things like professional branding, looking at LinkedIn. We're taking professional headshots and helping students develop their LinkedIn accounts, helping them prepare for interviews, and learning about professional etiquette. These type of things have been standardized. So over the summer, we had all of our career services team, and Rosario Pipitone is here, and several others who are involved in career services, major initiative to standardize the workshops and the career services that are delivered to students college-wide. We have a huge success this fall. We have over 100 requests from faculty to embed these career services into their classroom, either through classroom visits, coming to do workshops in the career centers, and even online. Everything that's been developed face-to-face has been developed online so that the faculty who teach online can embed those things in their courses. This is one of our, trade secrets. One of the tools that we use in addition to face-to-face preparation with a student, we have the online tool, and this is from our Optimal Resume system. These are virtual interviews. So there's over 100 typical questions you might get in an interview. And you hit the play button, the coach reads you the question, and you hit the record button and record yourself responding to that question. And so you can play it back, see your nonverbals, monitor your eye contact, listen to your response, and think about how you might respond differently. And then you can play what the coach says, and he gives you information on how you might consider responding to this question. What is the employer really trying to get at? We provide job search assistance on campus and online. One of the great new tools that we have is by a vendor named Burning Glass, and through their Focus Career software, you can load your resume, and it will analyze your resume and the skills that you have, and compare it to over 40,000 websites of job postings and come back and recommend jobs that are a match for what you have listed on your resume. You can also do this by your program of study. So each major that we have has standard occupational codes or job titles that have been loaded into the system according to frameworks that we have. And it will say, okay, I'm in this major. Here are the jobs that are currently available in the Tampa Bay region, or you can do a nationwide search. So it's very powerful, and you can combine the search. You can say, here's my resume, here's my program of study, what jobs are there? It is an amazing tool and dissects the skills, the certifications, the level of education. It's very impressive. We just launched it this fall for students college-wide after a summer pilot, and I believe we have over 600 students that have logged in. And this is also being embedded through our career services delivery system. Internships and work-based learning. This is another area where we have continued to grow our efforts. And as you can see, the numbers have grown over the years. So there's work-based learning is a course that has at least 60 hours of activities that are working with employers in a real business environment or a simulated business environment. And an internship is, if it's a standard course, it's 180 hours where a student is coming and working with an employer, extending what they're learning in the classroom and getting their hands on and getting the experience out in the real world. If you look in your book, you can see there's a testimonial from both two employers, actually. One of them is a former student who interned with us. Was an intern from St. Petersburg College. She is now using interns as a consistent and steady pipeline to employ students as interns as an ongoing basis with their firm. So we've got information in here. You can read that, and there's ways for you to plug in if you want to host an intern or post an internship position or a job position. We have a website there for you and a phone number to call and get more information. So I'm about to wrap up here, but I just want to finish up with, again, we want you to plug in. You're already plugged in, and you've made a big commitment to be on an advisory committee. Again, we ask that you contact us or work with your deans and program directors, find ways to plug in, posting jobs and internships. In the middle of your program, there's a whole list of other ways that you can plug in and get involved. So find what fits for you. Where do you find yourself connecting and contributing? One of the ways that Tech Data plugged in a big way this past year was through the Exploratory Lab, which is listed there. And it's my pleasure to introduce a great friend of the college, Angie Beltz. She was a big part of the success of this Exploratory Lab. She's currently the vice president of Cisco Solutions Group with Tech Data. She's responsible for leading the company's dedicated team of sales, marketing, and technical professionals supporting all Cisco solutions available through Tech Data. In addition to her role at Tech Data, she sits on the St. Petersburg College Foundation Board. She was the 2014 Tampa Bay Business Journal Businesswoman of the Year in Technology, and also in 2014, she was the Tampa Bay Technology Forum Technology Leader of the Year and CRN Channel Chief. Thanks to her leadership, Ms. Beltz in Tech Data is a finalist in the upcoming Tampa Bay Technology Forum Award in the Student Program of the Year category for the Exploratory Lab Bootcamp Curriculum Creation, Facilitation, and Commitment to the program. Please give a warm welcome to Ms. Angie Beltz.
Good afternoon, good evening. It's been a long day. Thank you for the very, very wonderful introduction. I appreciate that, Dr. Krupp. So I wanted to give you a quick overview of the Exploratory Lab Bootcamp. It sounds like, okay, what is it about? It's got to be experiential because it's exploratory. What it stems from is a wonderful person who I don't think is here because she was actually just finishing up disc assessments and book reviews with our second boot camp group of students earlier in the afternoon. Pat Jahant did a talent gap study about 3 years ago now. I think it's been maybe a little bit more than 3 years ago. And in the Tampa Bay and Central Florida area found that there was this big disconnect between what businesses need to hire from a skills perspective and what kind of students were coming out of the colleges and universities locally. So we were trying to brainstorm and figure out, and she's very passionate. She got me hooked on trying to solve for this and trying to figure out how do we help bridge those opportunities. You could see what St. Pete College is doing, critical thinking. Some of those areas were very, very keenly called out in this study. St. Pete College has actually responded to, I would say, pretty much every single call out from a business perspective, and they continually do that. They're very flexible, very adaptable. but not every college and university in the area is. So the Exploratory Lab Bootcamp is really a fantastic overlay program. It's a collaborative effort partnered by St. Pete College, Tampa Bay Technology Forum, Valpak, Chris Kate has been a sponsor as well, Tech Data, and Agile Thought, who is heavily involved in the actual curriculum delivery as well as sponsorship of the program. And in the effort, it really comes down to business and institution getting together to solve a problem. And what we've been able to do is actually create a fantastic overlay program. You're going to hear from Ginny Capelli in a little bit about testimonial from a student's perspective and what her experience was. But really the big focus area comes down to solving two problems: the gap in the skills, and connecting students to the jobs. You wouldn't believe how many jobs we have open all the time, yet there's talent here that we're just not connecting to. Now, with St. Pete College, we've made a lot of improvements, I would say, on those connections, which has been really fantastic. But it's an ongoing effort, and it's something that everybody has to put some kind of commitment behind. In the effort of doing so, we basically committed to creating this curriculum that is our everyday life. It's what it's like to be in the technology world. It's real life, it's real time, it's always changing, it's exhausting, but it's fun as heck. So what we wanted to do is really give the students from our perspective, here's what it's all about, and here are the skills that you're going to need to be able to do this. Now, the other piece that's really critical is that we want to recruit non-tech degree seeking students into this as well, because this industry is not made up of just tech students. I majored in fashion merchandising at Florida State, totally opposite end of technology. But I've been in this industry 15 years. I will not leave it until I retire. That's how much I love it. So every person that we've been able to recruit in as well, and many of you who have found the path to the technology industry, it's just an amazing one. But it seems to be a secret. So what we want to do is be able to spread that knowledge and make it known that you don't have to just be a technical person to be in this industry. What we did is we had 42 Tech Data employees from finance, operations. We have someone from our M&A, mergers and acquisitions team, who actually teaches one of the sessions and created one. Analysts, marketing side, sales side, technical side. We have really good cross-functional team who created the curriculum. They created the methodology for delivering, and they had to learn, how to be able to do that effectively. And then also, they deliver it, so they actually are the facilitators. We're getting ready to kick off our second one next week, and we have a whole new group of students. But the fantastic thing is it's bridged and kind of structured around three categories, or three pillars, we call them. Technology solutions, without getting too technical because we don't want to scare anybody off. And integrated business, because that's important, whether you end up working for a manufacturer, reseller, distributor, or actually even for an end customer. Even in a sales, marketing, or HR environment in the future, you are going to be part of making decisions around what solutions the company will be making. And then the other piece has to do with user experience and basically leveraging tools and processes for that. One of the big advantages students have is by having access and knowledge of agile methodologies, lean development methodologies, is that now that companies are really starting to adopt those, they will be the early adopters. They will be the ones pushing the legacy and the folks who have been there a long time to make the changes. And that transition has been happening pretty quickly, from 4% of companies to almost 25% of companies over the past 5 years adopting those methodologies. Students have a really great leg up there. Secondly is everything comes down to business outcomes and user experience. So no matter what kind of job they end up in, having these types of methodologies from a thought perspective and critical thinking, design thinking is really important for the students to have exposure to. They actually have to end with creating a business plan. We have it structured right now around wearables technology because it's kind of fun for them. They can get just enough information on their own to get creative with it, but it's still new. Everybody's still trying to figure it out and where they play, so they actually have to be a business and go to market, whether they're manufacturing or actually selling some kind of wearables technology, and they have to have some kind of value proposition around it. The first pilot group in March did a fantastic job. They had 5 groups and 5 totally different business plans and approaches. So it just goes to show that, there's no one size fits all, and you're going to have to take risks in this industry, and that's the fun part about it. One of the really big pieces that I want to call out is the results that we saw. So of the 22 students in the pilot group, out of 5 different institutions. 86% of them were placed in internships and or jobs. And some of them are still, seeking degrees, so they're not ready to be placed in jobs, but we're staying connected with them, like Ginny. Besides Ginny's story, one of my other favorite stories has to do with Rafael Murga. He was on the team, public policy major here at SPC. One of his professors suggested he apply for the boot camp, and he did. The only technical background he was on the Geek Squad at Best Buy, so he had a little bit of exposure. But he was in public policy from a major perspective, so he was not even thinking about going down technology path. And day one, I knew, I'm like, yeah, he's a keeper. So not only did Rafael actually was a leader within the group, but he also was the highest scoring post-assessment person there, and there were some technical people on the team as well. And he also was the first, and I think actually to this point, the only one who actually passed the Cisco certification that we offered the students, which was a brand new one based on solving for business outcomes. And not only that, then he got an internship on my team this summer, so I got to work with him for about 8 weeks on 2 big projects, one of which he actually used his public policy education to be able to help create, otherwise would have taken my team a year to create it. And so that was a fantastic pairing. And then the other one was something totally different for us, so it was great to have a different perspective. And he ended up with about 3 different job opportunities just in the local proximity of where he sat. He could have probably had even more if he went out and seeked them out, all of which were non-entry level positions. He ended up making at least $13,000 more a year by doing the internship, because it gave us the confidence that we knew what he could do and what his skills were. Now, he didn't end up on my team, because 2 of the positions were open on my team, but he did end up in our IT department. So not only did you have a public policy major end up at a technology company, but also ended up in an IT department working on an e-commerce team. So pretty exciting success story there. I would say that from a partnering perspective, it's important that business and SPC work together to try to figure out how to leverage these programs, how to input into the programs, give the feedback, and connect with the students, because we have so much talent here. We just have to make sure that we are connecting and pulling those students in and filling the jobs locally so they don't leave and go somewhere else. And by the way, it's all about the skills. It's not necessarily about the degree. 140 people on my team, 8 of which have technology or engineering degrees. That's it. And I have 25 system engineers with 92 certifications on the team. So you don't have to have a specific degree to be able to do a certain kind of job. Leaving you with quotes. The best quote from the pilot program was actually Rafael. Saturday morning, after the week ended, he posted on Twitter, "With a day to let it all sink in, I'm now positive that the past week has been life-changing." So I reached back out to him last week. I said, "Hey, by the way, love your quote." I still throw it around. We were announcing the Exploratory Lab Bootcamp coming up. And he followed up with another quote, and I love this one even more. He said, "Not only is this now a career, but because I landed this job, I was able to afford to get engaged. I think life-changing definitely still applies." Thank you. I do have one more big announcement, which I should have started out with this. So as of last night, actually, Tech Data has committed to supporting a scholarship at St. Pete College. In our 43 years, we've never supported a scholarship anywhere. And not only is it supporting a scholarship, but we've agreed to supporting $10,000 a year for the next 4 years to support Dr. Sutherland's $10,000 bachelor's technology degree. So that is really critical too. It's supporting STEM. It's something that obviously is near and dear to our heart, but also that we can commit to the college and commit to future students, and trying to build pipeline in this area is really important to us. So we're very excited to be able to support the programs, and thank you very much for your time. And anybody who would like to be a host company to support Exploratory Lab Bootcamp, we're looking for many of those. Bright House has signed up for the spring. You can do pairing. We can help you. There's all kinds of people involved, so just let me know if you're interested, okay? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jenny Capelli, and I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's degree in Technology Development and Management with an emphasis in software development here at St. Petersburg College. Last year, a friend of mine bought me a cup with a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt that read, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face." This really resonated with me, and so I made a promise to myself that if I ever encountered anything in which my immediate reaction was to say no because I was afraid to do it, then that was the exact thing that I was going to do. Thankfully, not one person has asked me to jump off a bridge this year. I was, however, invited to apply for the Exploratory Lab Bootcamp, and when I read that we were to give a presentation in front of a room full of people, I nearly fainted. You see, I used to have this huge fear of public speaking, and because my first reaction to being asked to apply for the Exploratory Lab was no, well, needless to say, that quickly turned into a yes. Looking back now, that single decision was the best one that I ever made. The boot camp constantly pushed me out of my comfort zone, which allowed me to gain the strength, the courage, and the confidence needed to stand in front of all of you here today. Overcoming my fear of public speaking was not the only benefit that I gained from my experience at the boot camp. It also allowed me to take what I had been learning about in my courses and really apply it. Things such as effective communication, working on cross-functional teams, process improvement, and developing a business plan, just to name a few. Perhaps the most surprising thing that I found was that the benefits to the Exploratory Lab didn't just end upon my graduation. Professionally, it helped me to develop my networking skills and gain important business contacts through invitations to events such as the Professional Women's Networking Luncheon and the Tampa Bay Technology Forum's IT Executive Council. I am happy to say that I extended my network at St. Petersburg College as well. After my involvement in the Exploratory Lab, I was introduced to Marie Couch, who told me about the free Oracle Java certification offered through the school. I spent my whole summer studying for it, and I am proud to say that I passed my exam on July 31st of this year. I believe that this certification will show my prospective employers that I am serious about perfecting my role as a Java programmer, and it will give me the credibility needed when applying for jobs upon graduation. In fact, I've already seen evidence of this when I told one person about it and they replied by saying, "Wow, congratulations, you must really have known your Java to pass that exam." As you can see, the Exploratory Lab had a huge impact on my life, not only professionally, but personally as well. And I am very grateful to everyone who was involved in putting together this amazing experience. Thank you.
Hello, it's great to see a lot of friends and familiar faces out there. I'm Jim Connelly. I'm the Director of Workforce and Professional Development, what used to be known as corporate training. Angie, thank you for that gift of scholarship. That is just phenomenal, nice words you say about us. And Jeannie, student testimonials are great. That's not easy to follow because that's what it's all about. We get corporation to help, and then the students benefit. That creates economic development because she'll be working, and that helps all of us. So it's a great thing to see. Thank you for that. Corporate training was very disruptive this past year. We started off by creating the Workforce Institute, and that was a direct relation of what we were doing at the school in our Learn to Earn program, and then we formed the Global Corporate College. What we did 4 years ago, Dr. Law called me in his office and said we needed to help people keep their jobs, get upskilled, and do things like that. In the past 4 years, you see that we've had 15,000 students participate in Learn to Earn. That was the first and second wave of computing and technology. You know, the first wave, the basic type of computing, and the second one with Microsoft Excel and Adobe Photoshop and some of those programs. What we did then, that spun itself into the 24 program. The 24 program is exactly what it says. In short-term classroom, 24 days, you can come in and study and then take an industry certification. This is what we called the third wave of computing technology. In that time, we were giving students vouchers to go get their industry certifications, but it was self-reporting. So we weren't able to get all the numbers that we wanted for the students, so we opened a test center. In that test center, we opened it full-time on July 1st of 2014, and in that time, we're the first workforce unit in the state of Florida to offer a test center, and that was a result. The result of that was that at St. Petersburg College finished #1 in the state IT certifications. Thank you for that. If you don't qualify for 24 because your math skills aren't exactly where they need to be, we've created a MOOC. A MOOC is a massive online course of which students can participate for free. And so you see the results of what we have up here. And it's because it's open to the public, we've had over 10,000 students. They're enrolled from 45 of the 50 states, Puerto Rico, the District of Columbia, and the average time to complete is 5.4 weeks. Then you come back and you do other exams and you can get into the programs, but you're qualified. The 6 industry sectors that we've targeted are manufacturing, information technology, business and finance, healthcare, supply chain management, and public safety. That's what I was telling you about earlier, Steve, when we were talking out in the hallway about what sectors you thought. When we started doing the industry certifications, and this is a result of the test center too, you see in 13-14, 308 industry certifications. We opened a test center, created test prep using our own staff and faculty. They went up to 1653. And this year we have a stretch goal of nearly 2,500 industry certifications. The reason this industry certifications is important is because 60% of all jobs require a credential. That's a fair amount. So when you add your AS degree plus a credential, you add your BS degree plus a credential, it makes you much more marketable. We also did a test in the Workforce Institute of 200 students. Of the 200 students, 190 of them completed. 160 of them have gained employment, and these programs are meaningful. 3 of the students have received 6-figure salaries, and the average salary for the group is $40,000, and that's a livable income in Pinellas County. And even though we were doing this, and this is all sounding really good, we said we're just missing something, and that's when we got involved with the field experience and the exploratory labs. Exploratory labs are relevant business skills that are needed. When you hear the numbers of the students that completed, and Ginny's still in school, so obviously 86%, you said, I mean, we're right there, and it's just about everybody that's in the program. But think about when you were in school, if you had been designing wearable technology. You know, I have my Fitbit on right now, counts my steps. So everybody's seen this type of stuff, or your Apple Watch. But it's pretty neat to do that, and then to hear them present their business plans was pretty phenomenal. So our classes are of substance and purpose. Purpose and ability for young adults, and pathways that are guiding a career focus. The 4th wave is coming. Before I get to the drones, the information technology, we signed a deal with SAP and have 13 new certifications with them. We're working with Salesforce.com. We're using things like Slack and Periscope, and we're also using agile methodologies. See, if we're going to have to work with people like Tech Data, then we have to eat our own dog food too, right? So that's what we've been doing, and we have all the Kanban boards set up, and we're doing all this. But Slack is a way that you can take meetings and do business-related communication. And it's a pretty neat tool, but you need trained on that. So in addition to all the other training that we do, we're going there. These are emerging trends. You have some of your own. You know, we need thought leaders like y'all to help us figure out what's the next new thing we're going to be developing. And in Dr. Law's leadership, we're not reactive to what goes on. We're proactive. So we're out there in front, always pushing the envelope as far as we can. Then you see the drones that are on the screen. In the next 10 years, 100,000 jobs. Of those 100,000 jobs, that's going to be an $82 billion economic impact on us. Florida alone, agriculture is one of the major areas. Inspections, construction, real estate, film. I didn't realize when they made Fishtails that they used drones to help film that movie. Supply chain, but go back to agriculture. If you're using crop dusters in an airplane, they're 50% efficient. If you're using them in a drone, they're 90% efficient. And what they do with the drones, too, they can fly around the apple or the orange orchards. I'm from Ohio. So we don't have oranges there, and y'all don't have apples. Anyway, you take the field, and you can fly over, and you can see where the irrigation's not working and the ground is dry, so you can know where to fix that. You can get close enough to the oranges on the tree to see which ones are being chewed up by insects or other things like that. Inspections in Hillsborough County, they're using drones to fly over places to see if you put an add-on to your home without a permit. There's a whole lot of uses for those. The thing that we're excited about is in December 1st, we're going to start a class on FAA ground school training. The reason that's important because legislation is going to go forward, and they're going to try to pass bills that if you want to fly a drone, you have to have your FAA certification. So we've partnered with a company, and they're going to come over here and do that. So if you're thinking of getting a drone for Christmas, come here, take the class, and then you can fly with it. And what's neat about it is over where we are at the epicenter, you can't fly a drone because you have the Coast Guard and you have the airport right there. And where I live over by Tampa Bay, you have MacDill and the Tampa airport. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. And then we haven't even mentioned the legal issues. This morning there was a lot of law enforcement here and how they could track why do a high-speed chase? Put a drone out there and just let it go track the car, right? So there's a lot of stuff behind that. Where emerging technologies are coming together is in mechanical engineering and electrical engineering. They're calling it Mechatronics. So you get the combination of the two. And look at it's in industry demand, or we don't teach it. But starting salary is $50,000 for our students that have taken these classes. And the job outlook is strong through 2018. So we're excited about that. Here's another neat one that we're getting into is 3D printing. 3D printing, now think about this. You're making equipment with your own equipment. So when you need a screw, instead of buying a screw at Home Depot, you can have a drone deliver your part that you need, your ally, and make your own equipment, right? Alcoa up in Tennessee, they're big into aluminum and all that. They've invested $60 million in a facility to do 3D printing of aluminum. And so what makes that unique is over in Germany, they're taking these technologies and they're creating cars out of them. What that takes us to is, matter of fact, it says on there, PricewaterhouseCoopers, 67% of manufacturers already have 3D printers. And Siemens is saying that there'll be 50% less expensive and 400 times faster, kind of like when we first started in the computer industry. Robotics, and this is where they start to converge with the 3D. They're creating robotic arms that are actually able to do 3D cutting of the aluminum. And that's how they're going to create the cars out of that. Right now, it's called autonomous vehicles, and they're backlog order of 200 vehicles already. I said this morning, and it's a bad joke, but you take your Joe Madden glasses, and then you put them in the machine, and you get your glasses cut, and then you order the lens from a special optics, Bosch alarm, something like that, and then put them in there, and you have glasses. You're tired of black, you make another pair. So the way that the industry is going and what they can do, it goes from little to large. So we're training our students for industries that aren't established really well yet, but that's where the technology is going. Again, that's why we need thought leaders like yourself. Healthcare simulation, $2 billion business, but look at the growth of that. It's going to grow 14.8% a year through 2020. That's a projected market. Think how many lives could be saved when you take the wearable technology, somebody gets to the hospital, they take the wristband off, they know where your blood pressure was, they know everything about you before you get there. In conjunction with the Workforce Institute, we also created the Global Corporate College. This is a pretty exciting thing. We're part of a consortium of 50 other community colleges and universities in the United States and in 23 countries. So we provided training to Raymond James. We did it locally here in Pinellas County, and then we took that to Memphis, Tennessee, Michigan, and Denver, Colorado. So we were able to take the same training all the way across the United States with our unit of friends. Alita's been a customer of ours. We're doing training for them. When they heard about the Global Corporate College, now they want to take that internationally. If you don't know, they're headquartered here, but their main office is in Germany. And I want to talk about our business partners. And this, I couldn't put, last year we had all the names. I don't know if you remember, we put all the names of all our partners on the list, and there's so many in that. But I just wanted to target, if you already mentioned Melita and Raymond James. But we also work with United Way and the Pinellas Urban League. Watson Haynes is a friend of ours, wrote us into the grant. We're training 100 people to get jobs. 60 in 6 months have jobs already. We're providing the training and placements and helping them with that type of stuff. So that's been a great opportunity for the people down in St. Petersburg. And the government, city, and local, we've been working with the city of Largo doing project management training. And then in Oldsmar, they had given us, get this, it's free use of a facility so that we can do training there. Right now, we're working with Monin and doing training with students. We've offered 3 technology courses already, and it's gaining in popularity. And it was really just a soft launch. The hardest part of the program was having our professor remember to get up there to take keys with them. You know, we go back into the classroom when everything's ready to go. He gets up there and forgot keys. We got him in the facility. One of the things that we need to think about as we move forward, we have a supply and you have a demand. If we know what that is, it's age-old economics, supply and demand. If we can grow with you, we have a collab where you can write business plans. If we know what your business needs are and we grow with you, we can deliver the students. That's one thing nice about what I get to do, is we can start programs regularly. We don't have to wait till August 20th and start a program. If you need something, we'll go find it and get it done for you ASAP. What Angie talked about, is exploratory labs, is really kind of crowdsourcing. I mean, we have 5 companies involved in that, and there's room for more. If you have a company that wants to participate in something like that, we'd be happy to have you. We would love to be able to work with you. Next year, we're going to invite our honors college students to participate in the exploratory labs, and that just got up the level of the competition of who gets in and everything else, because it's not everybody that applies gets in. We've made it pretty unique, and but we still need people to help us. We need thought leaders to help us, and we think it's a win for the economy, and it's a win for your economy if you get the right person. Hiring people can be very expensive, very time-consuming. You get the right person at the right time, then you could save all that extra money that you would have spent doing job searches. We're happy to help you with that. And I'm going to leave you with this, because Dr. Law is a Yankee fan. And so, but Yogi Berra passed away yesterday. You know, he was great for yogiisms. And yesterday he says, "The future ain't what it used to be." And he's right, it isn't. So with that, I leave you my boss, Senior Vice President, Dr. Ann Cooper.
Good evening. Let me add my thank you to each and every one of you. As an individual responsible for overseeing the Workforce Institute programs as well as our academic programs, it is a blessing to see the amount of commitment that each and every one of you make to our programs. We want our workforce programs to be cutting edge. We don't want them to just be about the knowledge base associated with a particular career or field of study. We want to make sure that our students are getting real life world experience in regards to practical application of that knowledge, hands-on experience, which happens through those internships, those capstone projects, or things like the Exploratory Lab. We want to also make sure that our curriculum aligns with the competencies associated with the various industry certifications associated with that field of study. And so it's very important for us to hear from you. We want our students' resumes to rise to the top when they apply for jobs with your companies or your businesses, because they have more than just a degree associated with their time with us. We also want to make sure that they have the soft skills, that they're career ready, that they know how to write a resume, that they have interview skills, that they know how to network and sell their skills. And so it's very important to us in regards to the commitment that you make, because we want those students, when you employ them, to be able to hit the ground running and be a valuable individual as part of your company or your organization. So thank you, thank you, thank you again. We appreciate your being with us this evening. I know some of the groups still have their meeting, and if you look on the little card at your place setting, you will find where those are located. Those who've already had their meetings, thank you again, and have a wonderful evening.